Hey, this is Spencer. Welcome back to Rockin' with Ro. Today we'll be talking about a drumming staple, 16th notes. Now, as you may have guessed by the name, 16th notes aren't just a rudiment, but actually a type of note just like whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, or eighth notes. They're applicable to virtually any style of music and are used as drum beats on the hi-hat, drum patterns on the snare for marching bands, or around the set as fills. As a fledgling rock drummer, 16th notes were indispensable. Before we get started, remember that we count quarter notes on the beat. For this next bit, we'll use our trusty metronome at 100 beats per minute. There are 4 beats in a measure. We will count 4 quarter notes and we count them 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For each quarter note, there are 2 eighth notes. So if we have 4 beats in a measure, we will have 8 eighth notes in a measure, and we will count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Similarly, for each eighth note, there are 2 16th notes. So if we do some simple math, there are 4 16th notes to a quarter note. If we have 4 beats in a measure, we have 16 16th notes. Now, 16th notes are counted 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... While there are numerous ways to play 16 notes, for this we were using a simple right-left stick. Let's start with a basic rock drum beat with 8 notes on the hi-hat and the bass on 1 and 3 and the snare on 2 and 4. Like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We want to double 8 notes to 16 notes, so I'm going to add my left hand in between each of my right hands on the hi-hat. We're going to keep the bass on 1 and 3 and the snare on 2 and 4, but since my left hand will be playing the hi-hat in between my right hand, it isn't as convenient to use it to play my snare. Instead, I will simply move my right hand from the hi-hat to the snare on 2 and 4 to save myself any unnecessary or uncomfortable movements. We want to focus on stick economy here, so everything should just flow, like this. When switching to a fill from a 16-note hi-hat rhythm, all you have to do is transition to the snare toms, but your hands stay doing exactly the same movement. There's no changing from eighth notes to quarter notes or anything. It should sound like this. Drums like this are heard in songs like the Foo Fighters' Everlong, or Guns N' Roses' Rocket Queen. Let's take a look at this when using 16th notes for fills. Again, we're going to start with our basic rock beat with 8 notes on the hi-hat, and then on beat 3 of the second measure, we're going to start our 2-beat fill on the snare. This time we'll do a full measure fill using 16th notes around the snare and toms. Check it out. This can be heard in many, many, many songs. Songs that use 16-note fills as part of the beat include the Rolling Stones' Get Off My Cloud, or the Black Keys' Set You Free. The common misconception beginning players make, myself included, is thinking that 16 notes are faster than 8 notes, so they will unconsciously speed up when switching from 8 notes to 16 notes. If you take nothing else from this lesson, remember that you want to stay at the same tempo from 8ths to 16ths, so nothing about your right hand changes. You're just adding more notes in between with your left hand to create the impression that you're speeding up. This process is called subdivision. To practice this, instead of doing your 16-note fills, play only your right hand for the fills. You should stay at the exact same tempo from the hi-hat to your drum set. Do the beat for a measure, do your 8-note fills with just your right hand for a measure, back to your beat, and then your full 16-note fills, like this. Remember, for 16th notes, right hand stays the same and your left hand fills in. Have fun subdividing.